Pedja, thank you so much for joining, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a sheer pleasure to have you all to talk about how to beat the unknown, and especially considering the COVID-19 situation and where we have got no idea how to deal with that. It's absolutely not a technical solution. It's absolutely not a technical challenge because nobody knows how to handle this situation, right? And so this is International Coaching Week 2020, where we are bringing to you world-class experts in their own domains. We are bringing world-class coaches and leaders who are not only talking about this, they're actually living this with their teams. And it's a sheer pleasure and honor and a heartfelt gratitude that towards Pedja that he has agreed to be a part of this journey where we are bringing to you for the world, where we are bringing the world-class coaches and the speakers for you. Let me just quickly take this opportunity to introduce Pedja. Pedja is a very dear friend, and I've had the honor of co-facilitating a program with Pedja a couple of times, and we have been friends for over 4 or 5 years now. One of the finest human beings I know of, one of the coolest dads, one of the coolest family members that I know of. When not facilitating, when not leading programs, you'll find his son jumping onto his head, jumping onto his shoulders, and I think that's what I really love in him. The way he holds space for people, where people can actually talk to him like a human being, like a brother, like a friend. I said, this is phenomenal. What he's going to talk about is how to beat the unknown. And while he'll be talking, I would have a lot of questions to ask him. How do you maintain your cool 24/7, right? How do you keep on creating your own path, no matter what the competition is doing? How do you keep on going and following your own heart when the things are not going the way you would expect them to go, right? That's what Pedja is going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Without wasting much of your time, I'm just presenting to you Pedja. And here are only 3 points that I would request you to take care of that. One is we have actually put all of you on hold, on mute. So please, in case you've got any question, type the question in the Q&A. In case you've got any comment or any observation that you would like to share, write it down in the chat box, right? So that is one. Second is please be open to what's coming your way. You never know that here is a gift that might be coming our way directly from Serbia, right? The third thing is pay minutest attention to all the small nuances that Pedja is going to share with us. So over to you, Pedja. Thank you so much once again for agreeing to be our speaker. And as I shared with you, after 30 minutes, we'll take a break because I'm sure people would have a lot of questions that they're going to post for us. So I'll be reading the questions for you, and please take your time to address that. And that window would be only for 5 to 7 minutes. Again, we'll start and we are going to end after an hour, and then we are going to have a 15 minutes question answer round. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for this introduction. And thank you all for joining this session, Leadership in a Time of Panic, or How to Beat Unknown. And believe it or not, this session or this workshop I first delivered to our team. At the very beginning of this crisis, like all of a sudden we were captured that we don't know what to do and where we are right now. And I said, okay, let's do something first internally. And first workshop or webinar, it was delivered for actually my team. So at the very beginning, I would like to share a few words about myself. And as Gaurav introduced me, one of the roles that I really enjoy is the role of entrepreneur. I am the co-owner of one of the co-owners of consulting company Atria Group. And the other very important role for me is role of a parent. I really enjoy this role. I enjoy spending time with my family and my kids now. I have 2 kids, 3. My wife has a kid from first marriage, so 3 of us, 3 kids right now in our family. And very important role is the role of high performance coach or trainer or consultant. So whatever I do, I really love to see the results. So I like personal transformation. I like personal growth, connection, but the results are something that I really love to see at the same time. So from these 3 roles, actually, I entered this time of crisis and panic. And, like each of these roles are touched in a different way. So before we start with the next slides and continue with next slides, I would like to ask you. There should be a poll right now, and I would like to ask one of the assistants to launch the poll. So from which role are you attending this seminar? Or it's not possible right now if I don't. Gaurav, is it possible or not? I don't see this poll right now.
Just give me a moment. Do you want to check a pool?
Yeah, like the first poll, if it is possible.
Just give me a moment.
It will be there in a minute only. Would that be okay?
Oh, anyways, like.
So, Pedja, would it be okay if we can play it in a while?
Okay, it doesn't matter. We can continue. You can add other pools later. So just think from your own perspective. As I introduced myself, there are multiple roles that we are facing, that we have and changed during the day. And this crisis, I entered from these three roles. I mean, many others, but these three roles are really touched somehow. So think for yourself, from which roles. What are the roles that you have in your life that are touched the most with this crisis? For some of you, it will be a role of a business owner, maybe employee, maybe family member, father, husband, wife, whatever. Just pick a few roles for yourself, and later we will go back to those roles. And when we talk about crisis in general, it's very interesting to explore like this time of panic or time of crisis, what it means for different people. I mean, we are all different, and this subjective perception of reality actually makes a crisis or time of panic for ourselves, as time of panic is not a fact, it's our response to that reality. And then from some people, time of crisis or panic would be that the business goes down. You know, like one of the roles that we have are, here is a poll. So I would invite you to just make multiple choices, some answers on how you are, from which role you are actually entering this whole thing with and what are the roles in your life that were touched through this crisis. And again, you're entering the webinar from one of these roles. So lots of coaches, mentors, yeah. Of course, it's in an international coaching week. So consultants, team leaders, executives, parents, all my friends. Hello, my friends. Okay. You still have time to vote. So as you see, many different roles we have. And you know, like what is interesting, when these things started, actually many of our roles were touched at the same time. And so here are the results. So you can see them. So lots of coaches, parents, consultants, team leaders. So different roles are touched through this crisis, and from different roles we are attending this webinar. Yes. So here are the results. I will stop sharing the results. Okay, great. So for some people, actually panic will mean that the business goes down, which is possible right now. I mean, most of us just experience that the things just stop. For other people, as we wrote, there were lots of info in media that after this crisis, lots of family separations are starting, as we are not spending so much time with our spouses, and then there is this might be a crisis that we are facing, and that it's a big thing, that one of the major difficulties that people are facing is actually separation. For others, might mean, okay, now I'm broke. I don't have my job anymore. Source of income goes down. So again, it is a panic time for me. And again, for some of us, it might mean, well, even in such a storm, I would like to find my way. I would like to find my way as a consultant, as a trainer, as a human being, as a parent, like how to proceed, even when these type of things are happening. And as Gora said at the very beginning in the introduction, we don't know what will happen. We don't know what is in front of us. I mean, we can have there are lots of speculation that the economy goes down, and then I don't know, there is a second round of this virus. Is it created? It's not created, whatever. So lots of speculation, but we don't know actually how to act, in what direction should we choose, and as individual, as an employee, as a manager, as a leader. So lots of unknowns is in front of us. And wouldn't it be great if we could have some model, something that we can use, that we could hold on in these difficult times? And since I see that there are lots of coaches and mentors in this webinar, most probably you know many models that we use in our trainings, like coaching training. There are models that we use. I mean, communication training, negotiation training. So, and most of these models that we use are so-called categorization models. So what does it mean? In categorization models, usually there is a matrix, and then there is like low high in one X and low high in the other X. And in this type of with such type of models, actually the framework precedes data. So there is a model, then in this model you put some kind of data, and then you can make some kind of conclusion what you can do. And there are many models that are quite popular, like a DISC model, for example, in communication, some others. Some other models. So there is a hand is raised. So shall we leave it for later? And after half an hour, we can have a discussion. So if you can just write down the question or comment. So in general, these categorization models are very good for exploitation. So it means when we use them, we can create results with them on the operational level, on daily basis. We can apply it like in daily work. However, they're not so good for the exploration. And now we're in the phase of exploration. We don't know what to do. We need to explore what are our options. And for exploration phases, because we are facing something unknown, something new, what is way better, so some examples of these categorization models are urgent and important. You know this model from time management. Another time management model, effort impact. I mean, you create the list of tasks, and then you map in these 4 quadrants, and then you decide what you will eliminate, what you will put more energy, and so on. Another categorization model is so-called situational leadership model, like how to approach different people in different situations, and based on their level of experience, and so on and so on. So these are a popular categorization model. And as I said, these are good for exploitation. It means day-to-day work, when everything is okay, when we are in a known situation, these models are very good. However, for exploration, for new things, for something that is unknown to us, these models are not so good. For such a situations, what is better to have are so-called sense-making models. In sense-making models, data precedes framework. So it means the framework is created by the data that we collect in a real-life experience, like day-to-day. And for people who did the art and science of coaching, there is one popular sense-making model, that a famous sense-making model that we use in when we work with teams, with the organization. It actually can support us to understand the culture within the organization. It's so-called spiral dynamics model. So this is not categorization model, but sense-making. With this model, we can understand better what we are facing when we enter the organization. We can understand dynamics in the organization, that there are people who are on different levels of personal development, and that they bring different value systems. So this is a typical sense-making model. So in sense-making model, what we have a complexity, And out of this complexity, we try to make some kind of conclusions, some kind of connections, so that we can pick a direction, pick a way how to deal with a situation. So this is, for you who know spiral dynamics, this is how we use spiral dynamics model. We don't say, well, this is the model, this is a person, and this person fits into blue or red or whatever. I mean, we are much more complex than that. So we try to, through the experience that we have with a person, to see what type of, what memes the person is accepting and what memes person is rejecting. And we are making sense of the interaction with person or with team. And for this particular webinar, what I perceive that is very, very useful, the model that can really help us to deal with this period of uncertainty, is so-called Canavian framework. This is a person who created a model. That his name is Dave Snowden. This word Canavian is a Welsh word for place of your multiple belongings. Even when we talk about ourselves, our personality, there is like multiple dimensions of personality. So in some metaphorical way, our personality is a place of identity, is a place of multiple belongings. So we can be parents, spouses, consultants, so many different roles. And always when we talk about identity, we talk about much more than that. So Canavian, by the definition, is a place where a person or animal feels in how to live and belong, where the nature feels right and welcoming, where everything is in balance. In terms of our application, and especially when we work with leaders or managers, or when we are in a position of manager or leader, this model can help us to understand how we perceive the situation from the position of manager or leader, or from different identities that we are entering. As you said at the very beginning, you're a consultant, trainer, executive, parent, and then from different identity, we will differently perceive the situation that we are currently facing. And then based on that, model can help us to understand how to act, how to approach, what to do first, and how to move through this crisis so that we can beat the unknown that is in front of us. That's the goal. So, long story short, it is essentially a sense-making device, and it will help you that basically on the context that you are facing, on the complexity that you are facing, that you build a right way, right approach, so that you can navigate through this situation in the best way for yourself and for the purpose of end result that you would like to achieve. So what is in the basis of this model? It comes from maths, from mathematics and the theory of complexity. And it is basically, we are trying to figure out what is the connection between cause and effect. And in the theory of complexity, there are different types of systems. And some systems are very ordered systems where clear cause implies clear effect. For example, if I'm here in the room and there is not enough light, and it's a clear cause, like there is not enough light. So if I go and press the button, then I will have the light. It's very simple. The system is in very order. Like there is not so many different ways how I can do it. One or two ways. I mean, either I have a remote or I can do it manually. And then some other systems are complex systems. What does it mean? So there is some kind of connection between cause and effect, but it's not obvious. And it's not obvious from the present moment. Once when the thing happened, in, I don't know, a couple of months or a year from now, when we look back, we will understand what happened here. But currently, I don't understand what is going on here. And I must understand how to connect these Corona things with, I don't know, world economy, and there is a vaccine, and then there is 5G, and then there is a Facebook, and there is a quote, and there is a mess. And I don't understand. There is some kind of connection, but I cannot clearly understand it. So maybe 10 years from now, looking back, I can understand this, this complexity, but right now it's not clear. And then there is again, in complexity theory, there are some systems that are completely in chaos, that things are moving in many different directions. So there is unknownables on all sides, and it's quite chaotic. So this is from maths, and what Canadian framework help us to, how it can help us, is to put this on operational level. And basically, any challenge we can analyze from the 4 levels of complexity. So some challenges are very obvious, and as I mentioned, obvious thing is if there is not enough light, just press the button, you will have light. I know you're thirsty, just drink the water. I mean, you want to send a mail, just click send. I mean, it's very simple. Like there is a way how we do these things. And then some challenges might be complex, as it is this small image here. It's like a car is broken, let's assume. So there is, when a car is broken, there is a way how to fix it, but usually there is an expert who knows it. I mean, or I can go and read somewhere and then allocate some time to do the research, and I can find a way. But there are many different ways. I mean, some mechanics can just fix a broken part. Other mechanics can go and find the way how to fix the part. Third mechanics will say, well, just sell that car, buy a new one, or whatever. So then you need to hire an expert that can help you to find a way how to resolve this complicated challenge. And as I mentioned yesterday, like on previous slide, some problems are, challenges are very complex, where like we need to first to create the experience, and based on this experience to learn what's going on here. And maybe this situation that we are currently facing might be one of such a situation that is not so obvious. And the last one is chaos. So what Canadian framework suggests that before you start to do things, first step back and try to understand from different roles, you are understanding this situation, you are experiencing this situation differently. And before you actually decide how you will act, first choose in which of these 4 quadrants you sense that this situation, that this challenge that you're currently facing, you actually experience. So of course, for I don't know, some roles, I mean, definitely it's very obvious, nothing changes, but from other roles, it might be very, very chaotic. And if I can go even further in details with this model, actually it's a great tool for decision-making process. And there is a sequence, there is a procedure how to approach different areas of our lives based on how we perceive the complexity of the situation. So for the problems that are obvious, we say, well, this is the domain of best practice. You know, like if there is not light in the room, like you don't need to coach me around this topic. Just, you know, like go and turn on the light. I mean, it's very simple. This is domain of so-called best practice. And in best practice, we can just observe what's going on somewhere, and we categorize it in one of the possible areas of solution, and then we respond to that. There is no need to coach someone around the area of obvious problems. And as coaches, most probably you experience that sometimes people get used to coaching, and then they, what I sometimes use this term, that they would like to be overcoached. They bring a very simple topics as topics for coaching, where there is just a domain of best practice. This is how you should do it. Just do it. I mean, if you are interested in results, of course, always we can go deeper and find what is the meaning behind all these things. But you know, like if you talk about just the achievement, there is the area of best practice. Just do it. That's it. Second area domain of complicated problems, is domain where the coaching is really the right and the most efficient approach. Because we first sense the situation and then we analyze. We analyze where we would like to go, and then there is so many different ways how we can get there. And even when people are insisting for complex problems in the best way, as a coach, what my goal should be is to challenge them and to support them to open thinking and to open many different ways and to understand which one is the right one or the most appropriate one for the given situation, because this is the area of not best practices but good practices. So for complicated problems there is not one way, there is always many different ways, and this is somewhere where you as coach can really support leaders to create the results. And then we are moving to the other dimension, the other one where the problems are not so easy to understand. Like there is like some kind of disorder. On this side it's order, on this side it's the disorder. So first thing, in a complex environment, we need to test on a small sample and to try to see like what works actually. And based on the experience, we can create a response and to build a strategy. This is the domain of so-called emergent practice. So practice will come out from learning, learning by doing. And as Gaurav said at the very beginning, like right now, we don't know where we are, like we don't know what will happen. And now we are all learning new things. We are trying new things. And then we are building new experiences. And then we are growing, but we are building the strategies how to beat the unknown currently. And when I was talking to my team, my colleagues, they're insisting that they should find the right way. They should find the best way. But currently there is no right way. Currently there is no best way. We need to build a way. And how we do it, what leaders should do, leaders should create a small sample and then test. And then see if that whatever they tested creates result, and then to come up with a strategy or the practice that works in that setting. And the last one, chaotic. When there is a chaotic environment, meaning cause and effect are not clear, there is unknownables on all sides. You just need to act. Just move as soon as possible, and try to move from chaotic into complex, ideally to build some situations and to move into obvious. I mean, ideally, but like it's most probably you will first move to complex, then from chaotic to obvious. And this is the area of novel practice. So the practice will come out, but you just first need to act. And if you coach leaders right now in different companies, what you can face is that companies are losing money. And what is the first goal of any company? Why companies are built? To create a profit to the owners of the capital. So leaders have a big pressure on themselves from the owners of the capital to stop losses, to save what is possible, what they need to save. And now they really need a support from their coaches, with whoever mentors, whoever they have for such a situation. So most of the organizations right now around the world are actually facing a situation that is quite new, and this is why many CEOs actually resigned at the beginning of this crisis. So this model actually can help us as coaches to find the right way to support our clients, especially in the leadership role, and vice versa. Since we are all leaders in our own lives, through this model, we can pick the right way, the right approach. So long story short, we will go for questions right now, just to summarize this one, and then we go for questions.
Yes, Pedja, thank you so much. There are a few questions on the Q&A forum. At the same time, just want to inform you that the polls are ready. In case you would like to run polls now, we are ready to run the polls. Thank you so much, Shalini. And my mistake, I should have given the polls to you. beforehand. It's my sincere apologies. Pedja, my mistake, my friend. Yeah, so here is a question. Now, considering what's going on in the current COVID-19 situation, in which category would you place this? Which kind of complex challenge is this one?
Okay, there is a poll that I would like actually to launch later, and this will be the question.
Okay.
So because we will, different people will have different answers, so then I will make comments.
Yeah. The second question is, what is the importance of the leader himself to deal with the current challenges in hand? What's the role that he plays in any complex situations?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there is this saying, organizations are shadows of their leaders. So in this situation, there is the biggest pressure actually are on leaders, formal or informal leaders. So if there will be a specific situation where coaching can create a great value, this would be the situation. So first thing that what leader, if I'm saying, I'm talking first for myself as a leader. First, calm down, breathe. Whatever you do, just breathe. Calm down, step back, hire coach. Don't hire consultant, because consultancy doesn't help here unless there is someone who knows what will happen. But it's a really low probability that there is a person like that. And really try to understand for your organization, from which in these 4 areas actually your business is right now. My perception is that most businesses are currently either in complex or in chaotic domain. And then once when you perceive in what domain actually your business is, then apply the recommendation. For complex domain, create the experience, like make a small project, make something that is really that quickly you can build the experience, and then assess if this works. If it works, move further in this direction. If it doesn't work, then change it. So now we would like to have a quick changes, action change, action change, action change. If we talk about chaotic environment, then we just need to move to save what is possible to be saved.
Thank you, Pedja. There's another question, Pedja, here. It says that during these challenging times, I'm finding it extremely difficult to engage with my team members. So on one hand, though I'm working from home, however, there's more workload on my shoulders. At the same time, as I mentioned, I'm finding it extremely tough to engage my team members. What's your advice on this?
Okay. There is, again, there are these 2 polarities. One polarity are results. The other polarity is connection between people. And in such a situation, which is extreme, then usually it naturally we tend to move in one of these 2 polarities by our personality structure. Some people will be more focused on results. Other people will be more focused on people. Our idea is to connect. We want to have integration of polarities. And this is what in literature it's called the Stockdale paradox. I don't know if you read the book Good to Great. And in this book, Good to Great, there was an example of US officers who were during Vietnam War in prison. And what they said, that those people who were too much optimistic, that everything will be okay, everything will be okay, they were broken mentally faster than those who had realistic approach and who didn't believe that things will be soon over. So long story short, in this Stockdale paradox, what it talks about, leaders should have both healthy optimism and focus on results. So as a team leader, if you cannot do it by yourself, my recommendation is hire a coach who can help you to have both of these things at the same time, people orientation and results orientation, so that you can both save your team and save your business.
Okay, so there's one more question. However, before that, there's a comment, I guess. It says, noticing the common denominator being sense, would it be fair to say that what stays in the process of decision making, it is to stay the sensitive to our senses and connect first with the inner wisdom and open all the possible senses. To connect with our own values and be sensitive to other team members' senses and feelings in the world of connect with self and others in a new way.
So actually, this first sense in terms of observe what is going out there, and then connect with what is happening inside. As like in such a situation where the crisis is like bigger and stronger than we usually used to, we need to be personally aligned, as you said, like with our values, with our vision, with our identity. And if we are aligned here and then go down on an operational level and sense what is happening down there, so even if we fail, I mean, not all stories have happy ends. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe like many businesses will be closed. But the thing is, even in such a situation, I want to be aligned with myself and to be fair to people that I lead.
Yeah, there's another two wonderful questions coming your way, Pedja. It says, in a chaotic situation, when you mention act, are you suggesting keep on experimenting to see what makes sense and then respond accordingly?
Mm-hmm. So we will go there a little bit later in more with more details. So action in chaotic situation is create any kind of experience. Just move. Like you experience chaos, just move, because there is no good practice. There is no best practice. You just need to save things, because sometimes as a leader, you just need to save your business. Like some companies just fire people immediately. I don't know if it is right way or not way, but it's an action. And like right now we cannot. I don't want to say anything. We choose another strategy in Serbia. We have office in Prague, and then here we choose another strategy. But the thing is, any kind of action is chaotic situation is important, and getting immediate feedback of in what direction it goes.
Yeah, thank you. Now, there's another question. It says, it's relatively easy to discern these models or expressions like embrace your fears and vulnerabilities at the cognitive level. Of course, it's very easy to talk about this. Now, the question is for you, Pedja, how does one embody these aspects at an emotional level so that one could experience a shift in being at an ontological level? This shift is being will consequently result in a different way of thinking and feeling and doing. What's your views on that?
So this is a long process, and of course, I really recommend that you hire someone to help you to go through this journey, coach, therapist, anyone spiritual leader who can help you to digest this new reality. And if I can recommend, just focus on Maslow's theory of needs. So there is in the domain of self-actualization, there is so-called B-type values or being values. And this is the domain where you should put your attention. So those are the values that are actually help you to connect with a higher self, that will help you to be okay with whatever it comes. Even if disaster is coming, that it is okay. And also you can play with these games, mental games of going to the end of your life, because in a way, this is in metaphorical way, this is the end of our life. I mean, something that just happened worldwide actually end the life that we know. And in a way, we are facing the period of grief. And we should give ourselves, connect internally to ourselves, and really like give some time to really like say, to really, how to say, like when somebody passes away, I mean, our life that we knew, like on a world level, is just ended. There is a new life. So there is a death and there is a birth and rebirth. So this is what is currently happening. It's actually happening on higher level than these operational things that we are talking when we talk about saving the business. So it depends on what level of personal development you are, but I will always recommend to have someone who can lead you through this process of going through this grief.
Yeah, thank you, Pedja. And Pedja, this reminds me of just some time back, I was having a conversation with Mr. Richard Barrett. Richard Barrett is the creator of Barrett Values. I'm sure most of you would be aware of that. And when we were talking about that, the conversation went in exactly the same question that, okay, I do understand this at the cognitive level. How can I really embody that? Now, the question is, how clear are you about your intentions? And Richard Barrett is doing a lot of research and he's coming up with several programs around consciousness. Now, once you are connected with your own self at the deepest possible level, right, then you will not have these kind of fears and vulnerabilities, because then you are one with not only with yourself, because at that point in time, at the level of consciousness, you'll be operating from a space of non-duality. And every time when you're operating from a space of non-duality, there's no fear, because every time when there's a threat coming from the other end, you would take a stand and you will operate from a space of courage.
Mm.
It's a beautiful conversation, and I'll be personally would be more than happy to get deeper into this conversation. Thank you so much, Vicky, for asking this. The next question is, and then we'll move to the second half of the presentation, Pedja. It says, as a leader, you make a certain decision and design a course for your team members. In these chaotic times, things are changing so fast, and the course needs to be changed and rechanged, and could be a possibility that the teams are feeling that the leader is not in control. How would you deal with that?
Mhm. If possible, absolutely. First thing is open communication, because that's the thing. We are not in control. We are creating control. Control is not happening in chaotic situation. You can have control in ordered system. In disordered system, there is no possibility to have control. There is a possibility only to create the experience. And what we are doing, we are creating small teams. Instead of having one big team where there is a more control about what's going on here, we created 5 or 6 small teams, functional teams, and giving a more responsibility and possibility to decide on the level of team leaders, so that they can choose their actions, their strategies on daily basis, and just to create the experience. And then we are having a shorter period of time where we are reevaluating if this, what other people create, with the experience that different teams had, really works, and what we can apply on for the whole organization. So instead of having a big structure, having a smaller teams, and give more responsibility to team members to have the ownership of their for their decisions and the results on the shorter term.
Thank you, Pedja. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So what we will do now, we will go one more time reviewing what to do in all 4 stages, and then I would like to connect it with leadership styles, because there are different leadership styles and there is a different levels of complexity of the situation that we are facing. So how to connect those 2 things, and then how to help as coaches, leaders, to develop inner flexibility. So as it is written here, different complexities require different approaches. And this is not the time for leadership development. This is time to really take out, so to really find your inner leader and make him or her to go out and show what he or she learned in a normal time. And then when again we go into period of stability, then we will again train our leadership capacities. So one more time, just to summarize, in simple context, cause and effect are predictable and clear to everyone. No need to coach. Coaches, please, when your clients wants from you coaching in a clear and simple context, when the cause and effect are really predictable and easy to understand, I mean, it's always better to go deeper and to ask your clients what is the story behind, and don't go into the trap to coach people for the results in the simple context. This is the area where you can challenge them, so that they can go beyond and understand why they would like coaches in a simple context. This is just do it. Domain of what we call known causes, known solutions. This is domain of the best practice. We know how to do these things. If I'm a team leader and I have the way how we use CRM, I don't want to coach my team members on how to use CRM. This is a domain of best practice. I don't want to coach CRM how to follow to coach my colleagues how to follow the procedures. This is domain of best practice. This is how we do it. And until we have another best practice, there is no coaching in this domain. So when you have a problem that you say, like, so you're facing the situation and you map the situation in a simple context. So what you should do as a leader? So assess the facts, categorize, and respond. So it's very simple. No need to think. Next one, complicated context. Still, we talk about order. In complicated context, there is a clear relationship between cause and effect, but not for everyone. This is the domain of expertise. If you're an expert in certain domain, so you understand how cause and effect are connected, and then you come and you resolve it. But you know, like, not everyone can do it. Any kind of a problem, you go to dentist. I mean, dentists can understand what is the relationship between the pain that you experience and what causes the pain. But you know, like, unless you're a dentist, like, you cannot do anything about it. So this is the domain where the coaching is amazing, great tool. Because when we coach someone, the person is an expert in his or her life. And there are so many different ways. And then we would like to awaken this inner genius, this inner expert, to help our client to find the good way. There is no best way. There is a good way. There are many good ways. And to move from point A to point B. So there are known causes, but unknown solutions. And our goal is to discover these unknown solutions. So coaching is one of the tools, my preferable one. And as we said, it's a domain of the good practice. And as a leader, if you are facing, for example, this situation or any other, and you would say, well, actually, for me, I know what is the cause, but I don't know what is the solution, what you should do. So first thing is sense, observe, so feel, hear, or see, to our senses. Then analyze, and then if you're applying coaching approach, then you can analyze in terms of where we would like to get, what would the result we would like to create. So what are the different ways, what is the best way, how we can include other people, how we can build support system. This is the analyze, so pure coaching. And then at the end, respond, act. So for coaches, perfect. And most businesses in a regular, when we talk about regular times, are actually in complicated context, not in disordered context. Next one, complex. So in complex context, there is a relationship between cause and effect, but it's not observable from the present moment. I cannot understand it from the present moment. Later, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, you know, like this saying, after the battle, everyone is a good general. Or after football match, you know, like any kind of match, basketball match, I know, hockey, it doesn't matter. You know, like the game is over and then everyone has the opinion, you know, no, they didn't do it right. I understand. After the game, we can observe and we can understand what would be the better strategy. So in complex context, there is unknown causes and there are unknown solutions. So this is the domain of emergent practice. So like you need to build one. You need to build a strategy that will help you to beat the situation. There is this army saying that every strategy actually falls down once when you when you meet your enemy, or as Mike Tyson said, like every strategy falls down when you get punched by your opponent. So it means that I will need to use my unconscious mind and all my experiences, but I need to create some experience on. I will not immediately go with a strategy for whole quarter or for whole year. For example, for current context, I would say, okay, let's do something for 1 week, for, I don't know, 10 days. And based on what we create is the experience and what we learn, what works and what doesn't work, we will decide if we will continue with that or not. Or one of the questions was what to do with the team. And if changes are happening fast. Yes, that's right. Changes are happening fast, but as long as you're showing your team members that your strategy is moving, improving, and that there are results, I mean, people will be more on board with whatever you are presenting them. And what to do if from the role of leader. So there should be lots of flexible initiatives. What we did, as I shared with you, we divided team in small teams. And I want them to move quickly. I would like to create the experience. And now, as a leader, I moved myself in the role of coach and mentor, where I'm observing what they are doing. I'm not telling them what they should do because I don't know. If I would know, I would tell them, but I don't know. And I would like them to really try something intuitively, to try and to see on many different, in several, I mean, we have 6 teams, in 5-6 teams, to really create some experience and to see what is going on, what is the response on the market and what really works. And then apply more of it or build a strategy that can work for all of us. But definitely it's better to have 6 strategies than to have 1 strategy, if possible. And last one, chaotic context. So cause and effect, it's impossible to determine it. No manageable patterns, only turbulences. So just change, unknownables on all sides. Like at the very beginning, like how we entered the situation, for me, it looked more as chaotic than as complicated or complex. And this is a domain of rapid response, so just move. When? Immediately. And I'm so happy with my colleagues as we moved, like it was a really chaotic movement, but we were moving for the first couple of days, like on daily basis, like there was a fast movement. And then only after a week or so, we could see how big steps we made. I mean, in different directions, some were good, some were bad, but then we at least understood it we don't want to go into bad direction. So slowly we moved from chaotic into complicated. Complex, sorry. And what is the goal of the leader? And first thing is to establish the order. If your business is going down, just save the business. Your people are going down, save the people. If your people and business are going down at the same time, you need to decide. If you can save both, save both. But if you cannot save both, decide as soon as quickly what you can save. Find the stability and move into direction of moving into the area of stability. So your goal is to move your business, your team, your family from chaotic into a complex environment, and then from complex into complicated, and then in the order at the end. So this is the question. If I can have a next poll, so in your perception, what is your feeling? Where are we right now? I will, okay.
So we'll have the poll now.
Yeah, I launched it. So please, there is this situation with coronavirus. And what is your perception? Okay. Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay, we are slowly coming to the end. A few more moments. Okay, so here are your results. So majority of you perceives that current situation is complex. I mean, from different roles, definitely. Some that are still chaotic, and for some that is complicated. So what it is that you can now do based on the inputs that I gave you, you can decide how to react. And always be aware that from different roles, you can differently experience the situation. I mean, it's not the same from the role of parent and from the role of team member and high performance coach or entrepreneur. Yeah. So now I would like to connect this model with leadership styles, because as a leader you can react differently in different situations, but also when you coach leaders, now they would need to show flexibility, because we all have our preferred leadership style based on our experience, our background, our personality structure, and situations like this actually challenge us a lot, so that we show a flexibility and show different approaches, especially in different projects and for different people who react differently on such a crazy situation that we are facing right now. So what I will share with you is Goleman's model of leadership style. So and I don't know if you know it or not, but I will quickly go through these leadership styles, and I will give you a short explanation, and then we will see how to connect leadership style with the different levels of complexity. So directive leadership style. So do what I tell you. Seeks immediate compliance from the employees. So sometimes this is very useful. Let's do it when like this. This is the way. Just do it. Then authoritative or visionary. Firm but fair. Like, this is the vision. This is where we go. Follow my path. This is the where I would like to move this organization, this team, this family, this country, whatever. So someone who has shows high values, high integrity, and who sometimes can be tough on people, but fair and really usually shows respect, but also shows a clear borders, and really would like to invite people to follow his vision. Then there is another leadership style, they call it affiliative, where we put people in the first place. So where we would like to nurture our connections, where we would like to build a psychological safety, to build the trust, to first pay attention of how people feel, and then how the people need to really like connect to each other, and then to survive as a team and as an individual through this crisis. Again, it's one of the leadership styles that can be applied and that can be useful. Then next one, democratic. So we are focusing on building the environment of trust. We would like to invite people to share their opinions, then to make decisions together by voting, and then choose the direction by where the majority would like to go. It's one of the styles. Then coaching, try this, or what you think that you can do about the situation. So I don't want to go into details. This is International Coaching Week, so most probably we all know this style very well. And pace setting, meaning I will show you, look what I'm doing. I am moving fast, so just do what I do. I will be the first one who will do the thing, and I would like to make some kind of standards and to show you how to do, and I will repeat it, and then I would like to keep this rhythm and to really move and to expect some results as soon as possible, or on some short run. So 6 different leadership styles. I mean, it's I use this model, but you can use any other model. And then it's interesting question is, so what about the situation that we are currently facing? And I would like to launch next one. Okay, sorry, not this one. But if you think about simple context, okay, I will, yes, there will be, in this pooling, as you will see, there are comments also beside different styles, but pay attention only on first 6 styles. Don't pay attention on what is written below. So in simple context, what is in your perception the right leadership style? Just focus on leadership styles. Don't focus on these sentences that are written below. So is it directive, visionary, affiliative, democratic, coaching, or pace setting? We talk about simple context. Remember simple context. Known cause, known effect. It's a domain of best practice. So when there is a best practice, when it's very clear connection between cause and effect, when you have your procedures that describe the thing, when you really know how to do it, when it is tested, when it is clearly defined by the organization, in your perception, in such a case, so of course you can choose multiple answers. There is no right way, but you know, like, and of course it's about your personality. So based on your experience, your personality, what would be the right approach in a simple context? Guys, simple context. Remember, domain of best practice. This is the right way. In simple context, there is a right way. It's the only context where basically we can talk to, we know how to do it. This is the thing. Okay, a few more 10 seconds. Please hurry up. Okay, I will end this point. Okay, so coaches, it's International Coaching Week, yeah, and of course, coaching should be the preferred leadership style. However, so like it's a very interesting distribution of answers. Basically, each answer got more than 10%, and coaching had 20. However, please be careful. Simple context. When there is a best way, so there is the best way. There is no need to coach people around best way, because if you coach someone in the domain of the best way, and the client chooses something else, and you know, like, then you can create the experience, and then you can again coach, and then can create the experience. So in general, when it's when domain of the best practice, when that's very clear, it's much better to really show how exactly it should be done. This is the right way. Just do it. So maybe directive, if you are interested in performance, if you don't have a time, or also you can connect people around the topic first to build the energy, team energy, so that people can feel psychological safety, to build the trust, but then again from that move into specific action, because there is a right way. Be careful with visionary, because when there is a right way, you need to also be flexible enough to put a vision on the ground, because vision is on topological level, then there is a why, then there is a how, and there is a what exactly. So you can use visionary style as long as you don't just fall down from vision into do it like this, because it might be too big gap. So if you're like visionary style, then move slowly. So from vision to identity, then to values, then to beliefs, strategies, and then to specific action steps. And also pace setting can be very nice leadership style, because it's simple. I mean, it's clear, it's written there in manual. This is how we do it in our organization, and just we can move with it. Yeah. So this is about simple context. So let's move to next one. Okay. What do you think about complicated context? So in complicated context, what would be the best approach? Again, you can have multiple choices. Please vote. So if I will remind you, in complicated context, there are many different ways. This is the domain of expertise. This is the domain of good practices. This is the domain where we should sense, analyze, and then respond. This is the domain of learning. This is the domain of exploring the options. This is the domain where there are multiple ways how to create a good result. This is the domain of good practice. It is not the domain of best practice. There is many different ways how to get desired result. Okay. 10 more seconds. Okay, I will end. Results. Okay, so democratic, coaching, visionary as three styles that got most of your answers. So definitely this is the domain where coaching is the great approach, because there is many different ways. Also, democratic can be a nice approach here. Why? Because there are many different ways, so we can agree. We can find our way. And I agree that visionary also is possible, as different ways are higher from best ways. So there are options. So again, it's a closer to vision. However, again, be careful, because you need to, from the vision, to put on some lower logical level. So I would agree with your answers. I would be careful with pace setting and with directive, because if you move into with direct, if you start with a directive approach, that means that you know the best way, and in complex problems, in complicated problems, there is no best way. Same is for pace setting. Okay, so thank you for your answers, and let's move to complex domain. In complex domain, so remember, what works comes after the experience. So after the battle, everyone can be general. So we need smaller, the practice needs to come out from the experience. So in complex domain, we need to create the experience on a smaller sample, then based on this experience, to come out with a strategy that works for us, that works for people, and then to multiply that strategy on different teams or to whole organization, to spread it out. So it's the domain of emerging practice. So small sample, we create the experience. Based on this experience, we see if it works or not, and then we spread it out. Remember what we were doing, I shared what we are doing in our company. We are dividing, we created the small teams, 5 small teams, and then we would like team leaders to create some experience and to come up back with the experience and to share what works for them, what doesn't work for them, and then to try to come out with something that works for whole organization. Okay, few more seconds. Okay, I will end polling. Share results. Okay, very similar to the last one. So let's start with this affiliative. Because this is the domain of action, and affiliative is really the very, its action comes later. Like there is no, usually like it's very slow process with affiliative leadership style. It means we first need to connect. We first need to show appreciation. We first need to find the environment for psychological safety. And then, you know, like it's very difficult to change, to make these constant changes. So I would really be careful with affiliative leadership style. Also, I would be careful with democratic leadership style, as this is the leadership style. If you did high performance team coaching with Ericsson Coaching International, we say, well, this is the leadership style where people have the biggest level of satisfaction because their opinion is heard. However, it's very slow. And the complex context require fast action and changes. One of the questions previously was, what do we do with this constant change? How people react on this change? Will they perceive leaders or not, that they don't have a, that they don't know in what direction they're going? So definitely I would be careful with affiliative in democratic. What I would say that works, so directive pace setting in combination with coaching, because through coaching we can learn what works, what doesn't work, but definitely combination of action and coaching, because coaching is this reevaluation. If it works, if it works, if it works, what we learn here, where we would like to go, but we need to create the experience. So I would say move either with directive or pace setting and coach at the same time. So connect these to action and learning out of action. Okay, and the last one. What is your opinion about chaotic context? So remember, chaotic means only unknowns, not clear effect, connection between cause and effect. First goal of the leader is to save, to move the organization team into safety. So we said the domain of rapid action, the domain of novel practice, the domain of making any kind of a decision is better than no decision. The domain of where we need to create the experience as soon as possible and just move. And of course, we talk about situational things. I mean, it can change as the environment and as this situation that we are currently facing worldwide is changing, so we can change our styles. Okay, a few more seconds. So here are the results. So yes, directive or pace setting. So definitely, this is the domain of rapid action and fast changes. So be careful with the vision, please, guys. This is very important. Be careful with the vision, because in such a situation when there is a chaos, it's very difficult to see vision. There is a cloud. We are like in a situation where we don't know what is the new normal. Vision is good when we have the idea where we go from here, but currently we don't know if we are sitting last time in this setting and from these roles as the coaches, I don't know, business owners, managers, so on. Maybe next month all of us will lose our jobs. Maybe all of us will do something completely different next month. So vision is very critical in such a situation. So definitely in a situation like this, we need rapid action. So either directive or pace setting. And please, where the coaching can help leaders, like especially if you had a leader who had a more visionary or democratic or coaching leadership style, and now all of a sudden things are rapidly changing. So you as a coach can support your client to shift leadership style, because once when I start to shift my leadership style, and I need to move to something that is different than what I used so far, and that is not so much aligned with my beliefs, my values, my personality structure, then I will get into inner conflict. And this is where coaching can be very helpful to support leaders to act differently than they used to. Also, if you are in a situation, and of course you are, that you are now, as we said, most of us are facing this situation, are experiencing this situation either as chaotic or complex, that it means that now we need to be less democratic. Now we need to move faster. Now we need to really like have a short discussion and then movement. And for such a thing, we need the support from someone who can really help us to deal with the internal conflicts. Okay, so thank you for your votings, and I would like to share a few things about me. So how I am facing this situation. So from the position of father and parent, this was very chaotic situation at the very beginning, because we wanted like to have a birth delivery. Our baby girl was born on Sunday, and all of a sudden last month of pregnancy, and here am I'm in with my wife. We're in Prague, and we are like alone here. We don't have anyone to help us, and I wanted to be on a birth as a father, to be present, to be there, but because due to coronavirus, they didn't accept fathers to be there. So we needed to choose between should we have a delivery at home or in hospital, and both of these decisions were really not good, and like it was really difficult. Then we made some decision, we needed to change it, and then things shifted in many different directions, but at the end everything went in the very nice way, and now everything is in order. Our baby girl is here, she's well, mother is well, we are all okay. Now we're simply in order. She's hungry, she's eating, she's sleeping, mother is resting. It's fine, pure order, simple context. As a trainer, facilitator, coach, I am more in complicated domain. Like I'm learning new tools, I'm learning these online things, visual facilitation. We're like this different types of boards. I'm more in whiteboarding, but now I'm learning new things, and so it's quite. I'm again in order with in complicated domain, but as the business owner, oh my God, still in chaos or complexity, because we are still not in safety. So I would like us to move as fast as possible to really get into safety. So just a few more slides and we are at the very end. So I would like to point out what to do in complex environment, in chaotic context. So there is no point to look for the right answer. Just move. We need to act. The job of the leader is to stanch the bleeding, establish the order, and find the stability, and then transform the situation from chaos into complexity. So what do we need to do? Keep calm and take massive daily action. So this would be the presentation, and I'm here for questions and answers.
Pedja, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation and taking us through all these experiences. So here, there are a few questions that people are very, very interested in. In fact, 3 people have asked the same question. The first question is, what is the difference, what is the primary difference between authoritative and pace setting?
Okay, authoritative leadership style is someone who shows the vision, we don't go into what to do, into doing. I'm just showing the vision. I'm keeping communication on higher level of abstraction, high standards, high values, to change the world, to influence, to support, to grow, lots of value words. This would be authoritative. So 4 are firm and fair. And pace setting would be, let's do it. How? Like this. This is the right way. Let's do it. When? Today. So focus on lower logical levels. Focus on action. So let's send an emails. Please, let's go with the emails, send emails, my bunch of emails. Today, I will show you how to send emails, presentation. So visionary, vision, values, pace setting, action, movement.
Got it. Thank you. And there's another great question, and it's coming from few of the coaches. How coaches can best support when in complex level of challenge?
As we know that coaches are not giving the advices. So only understanding and opening questions for a person and invite them to look further. And what you will observe that the person, your client, will not be able to see far because it's not clear. Like, I don't know what will happen in 6 months. Then what you need to do is, instead of putting lots of attention on values and on self-understanding, on an identity, to put more action on the ground. So when we talk about ICF competencies, planning and action setting, building supporting system, what you will do, and then asking a question, how you will learn out of it, how you will collect your feedback, how you will change your strategy, when is the right way to change strategy. So insisting more on operational level, learning out of operational level, and changing the strategy, of course, through open questions.
Thank you. And which scenario the COVID-19 situation is, as per you, complex or chaotic?
Personally chaotic. Chaotic, as I think it's not clear where it comes from, where it goes. It's chaotic, personally.
So the next question, though you have answered that in a way, but then also there's a question I would like to bring it here. How can a coach, what role can a coach play in these kind of scenarios in the organization?
So key people in the organization right now are all formal and informal leaders. So coach, in my perception, manager as a coach, or internal or external coach, is the key person to support them to move through this either complexity or chaotic situation. So that, I mean, I perceive it as a external coach or internal coach can have a really huge value for the organization because of this period of uncertainty, unsafety. So that's my opinion.
Thank you. So here you have spoken about, so the next question is, you spoke about something called spiral dynamics. If you can tell me more about that. So ladies and gentlemen, my assumption is that in case you don't know about spiral dynamics, my assumption is that you have not yet done module 3 of the art and science of coaching. Though I'll leave it to Pedja. Pedja, if you can just spend 1 or 2 minutes. I know it's a complete 4 hours module, but in case you may want to spend 1 or 2.
Okay, so we talk about sense-making model that help us to understand the diversity of values within a system. And the system can be organization, can be team, but also can be individual. And like spiral dynamics actually help us to step back to understand it and to choose the right approach with a team or with the individual.
Thank you so much, Pedja. And there are a lot of messages coming saying thank you. It was a brilliant session. So thank you so much, Pedja.
Thank you so much, Gaurav, for your invitation. Here are my contacts, and here are the results of this session. You can see, and I hope to be in contact with you all via social media. Bye-bye.
Stay blessed. Bye-bye.